Wait, what happens if it goes to retro or guest?
We'll probably
You get
spin
fucked,
it.
and that's how you're gonna get fucked.
Honestly?
But you can pick.
I don't
You
like
get to
it.
pick in both of those.
Yeah,
This is
it's
your
your
wheel.
choice.
You get to
So
pick
if
your-
retro review gets picked, I get to pick the movie.
Which will be Tim and Eric, I'm no doubt.
Yeah, we're sure.
Oh, I thought you meant I get to pick from like what's on the wheel.
No,
No,
it's retro.
you get to pick your
No, you get
retro
to pick
movie.
a retro review.
We didn't record Tim and Eric.
No, I
No.
don't think so.
But here's the one also that
Oh,
you
now
might
here's
Thank
your,
you, Mason.
Here's your wild
Yeah.
card, though. Movie that has
has music from your favorite
band.
band.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't
Which
wanna-
you did that
You
one.
did it.
I didn't have a choice. It was like categories. It's like I don't fucking know.
You got to
To
pick.
I couldn't, think of a better,
category.
I couldn't think of a better category. I should have picked movie that Price wants to watch. Is that better?
No, we
That
didn't
would've been
think
better.
Oh, we did that season already.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that season.
that's true.
And it was
It was one of the worst seasons.
easily one of our least favorite seasons.
Are you making a joke or are you actually serious?
What about
That, well,
What?
one where we were all picking like specifically
Pick one
movies
for your
that.
for each
No,
other.
yeah, Clock Stoppers got picked. Remember that?
No,
No,
no, we're talking about
no,
the
we're
movies. Like he
we all
picked,
try to pick a movie
he
that we
picked-
think
he
he
Price
picked
will like.
Cowboys for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brokeback. I
Brokeback.
picked The Fountain.
Still a fire movie choice.
And then he picked Train to Busan, and I'm like, what do you
Busan was
think
fun.
is gonna get picked?
I was actually on the fountain to be honest. I actually really thought it was gonna be mine.
Why did you pick The Fountain again?
I honestly can't.
He just wanted to
remember.
watch it.
Cell for me.
He's
So-
like, I like this movie.
So I felt like I had a good case for The Cell.
I like the Cell,
The Cell
a lot
from
more
Visual.
than I did the Mountain.
yeah,
The Mountain.
the mountain.
The Cell, the
The
Fountain.
fountain. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry,
Yeah, the
listening
Cell.
to Game of Thrones.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Fountain is like.
We watched so many fucking movies we can't tell them apart anymore.
Okay, Dylan, I'm ready for you to take it away.
All right.
Okay, go click
Clap sync.
You in supporting your local business.
I don't want to support Fruit Alone, but they were the only
You can
company
do
that had the
that.
shortcut
Oh, yeah.
socks.
Mm-hmm. That's the only kind
I wanted Hanes.
Mine are
but-
kind of like, yeah, you can see they got holes in it.
Yeah, see, you gotta wear them in. Anyway, hold on. You gotta get my cheeks. There's my cheeks recently. You know, you gotta get them all red.
You got a new keyboard.
What's up?
No,
You
you
got a
didn't.
new keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the cat will sit on the other keyboard and
Yeah.
break it, and has broken 2 of them. So now the keyboard gets put under something whenever it's not in use.
Is that why that's there? That little,
No, I
Little
got
nut?
that because I thought like I needed to have better seating whenever I'm using this computer.
Yeah,
I
versus
don't know.
like your back.
Yeah.
And also like it can be wheeled over and it's like meant to go like it could go right there where you are and be a little side table and
Right.
stuff. So
You put dinner on it?
I like that chair too.
Yeah, it's on this chair.
yeah, I do like the chair.
Welcome to another obnoxiously loud
I
episode.
have to show the chair now.
Oh yeah, can we get the chair on screen?
No.
Price.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Bryce.
Oh boy.
I got it.
I
Get
don't
chair
know how
Salma
this
in
is
here.
gonna happen.
Oh,
I
boy.
got it.
Watch out for the
Oh,
fan.
Welcome
I got
to a chairific.
Look at this chair.
Look at this.
Look, it's got a headrest.
That's a good chair.
Yeah.
God, that's a
Neck
good
support.
Full mesh, nice and heavy.
A fully supported back episode of the F Movie Podcast. I'm
Good
your host,
Posture Podcast.
Chair.
Good posture.
Good posture podcast.
Good posture.
I'm your mesh chair. This is your neck rest, Mason. Nathan, the wheels. And Price is probably the
The
shifter.
butt.
Yeah, the butt.
I'm the wheels.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm a baby?
Yeah.
Am I the baby
Yes.
in this?
Yes,
in
you
this
are.
heist?
Tell me, was it
Oh, boy,
fast?
that's we
Yeah.
haven't even guys. You're blowing our load too soon. We haven't even said what the movie is.
Yeah.
Price. JK. Wait, whose movie is this?
That's
This is
mine.
Mason's.
Yeah.
Mason, what movie is this?
We're watching Baby Driver. We're reviewing Baby Driver. We've
Right, we're
already
not
seen
watching
it.
We've already watched.
Now I know that part's kind of redundant because obviously you see on the video it clicks Baby Driver. It says that. So really,
And there's a beautiful thumbnail, I'm sure.
should be.
Oh, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Baby Driver is basically about this kid who is probably way too young to be doing his career right now.
Well,
He is in it for one last heist. He owes this guy who puts all these little missions together, all these operations, all these.
And never uses the same people.
Nope.
Never
does use-
uses the same
but
people.
does
The same
use
crew.
the same crew.
He doesn't use the
different-
same crew.
Does use a
okay.
different combination of
Okay.
people.
Yeah. But yeah, he owes him some favors, and he is coming to the end of his line, and he is trying to just do one last job. You've heard it before. Along the way, he finds this girl who he's pretty much been infatuated with for a little while, and finally gets the nerve to somewhat talk to her. They decide that they want to try to run away together, but of course, that one last job isn't quite that one last job. And that's pretty much it.
Hijinks ensue.
So Mason, why did you pick this movie, and what were your expectations going into it?
This movie has the most, maybe not the most, an incredible flow. It is start to finish. I enjoy it. I've seen it probably 3 or 4 times, but I do think that the music is great throughout. Maybe not every single song, but it's great all the way through. And I didn't really realize it until reviewing it this time that it is a pretty okay heist movie. Maybe a little above average heist movie. But it's got a great cast, too. I don't know.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx, John Barenthal, John Hamm, Olivia Rodrigo. It's not Olivia Rodrigo, but I'm going to keep calling her Olivia
Daisy...
No idea who she is.
No, I'm not talking about Lily James.
Daisy
Lily
Domergue.
James.
No,
Who's that?
she's John Hamm's girlfriend that I'm talking about.
Oh, you're right. It is a Rodriguez.
it's
Gina.
Yeah, but
Right?
I'm just gonna keep calling her Olivia Rodrigo because that's what she looks like.
Good for you.
Anyways, I do want to give
Thought that was a good
a
one.
alternate plot description. Okay?
Okay.
Kevin Spacey. Let
I
that
don't-
sit
I'm
for
done.
a second. Kevin Spacey has a inappropriate power relationship with a younger man and continues to exploit him throughout the entire film.
Low-hanging fruit.
It's a low-hanging
I
fruit,
like that.
but it's incredibly relevant to how I thought about this movie because I couldn't put that context aside. Can we get into it?
I know you've been
Let's get
cooking
into
that
it,
up for
but
a while.
if it
Okay.
messes up your score at all, the fact that that is like that, then
Oh,
I
man,
can't talk to you about this.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I would love for it not to. I would love for it to. I would love to sit here and come to you guys as honest, true film critic.
This
purist.
is you not liking Miles Teller
No,
and Whiplash.
No.
Oh God! Don't get me started
That's what
on
I'm
that.
saying.
one.
I will say. Here's what I'll say. This did not spoil the movie.
Okay.
But this did reshape some scenes for me.
Oh god.
It was okay. So knowing that this real life stuff happened with Kevin Spacey, for those wondering, yes, this is after Kevin Spacey has been canceled. Technically, Ansel Elgort has been loosely canceled, and once and then TBD from there. So after the Kevin Spacey stuff comes out, and I kept putting timestamps into the thing, there were scenes that were just directly like him doing the power struggle thing and exerting his force over it, and I can't not fucking think that I'm like, why wouldn't I think that this is gonna take me to war worlds, like real world stuff with Kevin Spacey, where it's him like, oh, did you think this was done? And then he's like, yeah, I see you're enjoying your little girlfriend, but yeah, you're mine.
Yeah.
And he's just saying stuff like that. I'm like, Kevin Spacey probably said this in real life at some point. Like, and I can't not think it. Like, that's where my brain keeps going. And now, that being said, am I taking away at all that Kevin Spacey is a great actor? No. Kevin Spacey is a great actor who also just happens to be somebody who diddles guys and exerts his force over it and probably doesn't seem to be caring too much about consent. Which, great character to play in this movie for it, because that is his whole plot thing with Baby.
Yeah.
Is that I've got you under my thumb. I say jump, you say how high. I say lick, you say how many. And all of it just kind of comes back to
I really hope you're gonna double back to the fact that this is a movie review.
This is a movie, right. So
I'm ready for that.
now that I've got that part out of the way, I had to put that disclaimer. That will inevitably impact my score, but I'm going to say, more importantly, what I thought about the bigger picture with the characters in this one, right?
Here we go.
So Kevin Spacey and Baby and that little interaction stuff, it definitely has womped it up a little bit. But that being said, I realized for me that my favorite characters in this film are not even those two anyway.
Well, that's what I've been thinking a lot about the whole Kevin Spacey part of it. Is
Yeah.
I don't really think his character's all that great in this film.
Mhm.
No, he's pretty
Like-
one note.
Yeah.
He's the same in this as he is in pretty much everything else, which isn't
Yeah.
super spectacular.
Well, they don't give him a lot to chew on here
No.
anyway.
No,
I mean,
his-
the movie is about Baby and his girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Really.
His crazy girl.
Right.
Because
Oh, I'm
there's-
definitely getting into that.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah.
She is ready to
That
do-
is
Oh,
my
God.
biggest bone to pick with this. Is like she is ride or die for no.
All right,
Right on.
let's go ahead and
reason.
get into that because I want to go ahead and just go ahead and talk about this
All right,
because
let's talk about
at its core, the reason that Mason picked this movie is because it is a teen
Oh.
romance
It's funny
at
that he got
the
it in
core
my
of this
head.
movie.
He
Yeah,
decided.
he gets to
That's
tell
why
you.
I picked
Yeah.
it.
It is.
And I didn't even say that
That is
when you
yeah.
asked me.
You asked him,
You
and he
asked
said
him.
totally different.
But now you're
reasons.
telling
I'm
me.
leading the witness because it's a teen.
You're not leading the
Well,
witness.
you
You're
hear what I
telling the
said?
witness that he was
It's
at the
a
crime
heist movie
scene.
at its
Right.
core.
We'll let you calm down and then I'll talk it out because
I need to
the
calm
whole
down.
like
You do.
I look at it as like there's basically 4 sections of this movie. There's like the intro part where you kind of learn everything, where he kind of gets out. Section 2 is like, hey, look at everything Baby has to lose, including this blind guy and now his girlfriend. Section 3 is like, oh, like he may be in over his head, and then 4 is that long ass conclusion. But that section 2 where it's getting to know the people that's inevitably he's gonna lose, like I thought that was definitely the worst section of this movie because that is not what I came to this movie for. Was a teenage romance between these two characters who I just hate, like, that cliche romance. Like, what are you listening to? Oh, I'm gonna take off work and, like, let's listen together and I'll sing for you. And then, like, they talk twice. To go back to Nathan's point, I think they talk twice at the diner. They go to a half a date at the laundromat. And then they do a full date at the dinner. And then
Which
that's
gets
basic,
interrupted by-
which
Right.
gets interrupted, and that's where basically the conclusion kind of starts at that point.
That's all they show us. Like maybe
I think it was
they-
implied.
there's
that it was
implied.
more.
I didn't see
These
I don't
heists
think they
didn't
did a
happen.
good job at implying that it was more.
Right.
Because it really feels like he was barely out before Kevin Spacey finds
The
him.
next
Yeah.
one
It
happened.
feels
No,
like
Yeah.
So
I'm-
it doesn't seem like there's enough time for there to have been more than what we were.
I'm
shown.
talking about the trajectory of just their relationship right now. Like that's all that this girl has attached
Yeah,
to him.
right.
And-
But what
and
we're
what
saying
I'm-
is that there's more of a
What,
movie behind.
what I'm saying is that like there can't have been this space for it to have developed more than what we saw.
Right.
There
Because
could have been
there's
like a
no-
montage or something of them like
Yeah, they
having
could
more of
have
a
But
done
no. But you would have
hated
fucking
it if you fucking
hated that.
yes.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm with
know.
them on this. I knew immediately what I
No,
was
you're gonna hate
It-
that.
it
And
should
they
have
gave
a
you the
montage.
cliff notes. They
Yeah.
said, "Oh, here's a diner."
Price
date.
said, "Don't
Here's
do
a
montages."
laundromat.
So
Y'all
we're
are
gonna
cutting into my
skim.
point that like
Okay.
Make
they-
a good point.
y'all didn't let me finish.
Right.
Basically, my point is like they barely know each other. 2 talks at the diner, half a day at the laundromat, 1 full day.
This is a heist
And
movie.
then at the end of the movie, she's like, he walks in with like blood all over his face and everything, and he's like, "Hey, I got like all the national manhunt after me and everything. Like, we need to ride off and like go out together." She's like, "Tell me when and where. I'm ready to go."
Okay,
She already
so-
And
pulled
she
out a
was
luggage
ready
bag.
to fucking
Fucking-
charge the like barricades,
Right.
driving the car with him in it.
At the
And
very
fought,
end,
and
yeah.
fought John Hamm with him in the parking structure. Watched him jump over a car.
Real quick though, real quick.
and
So,
kill a guy.
is your problem that this is like unbelievable, or like as in that this isn't something that would ever happen, or is like where's your,
I think it's totally stupid. Maybe it is. If you
or is
find
it,
a-
or
if
do you
I-
just
if
feel
find
that like
a-
it's dumb?
If you
Like-
just find like a crazy enough girl, maybe it is. But like, I don't see like any girl being like any reasonable person being like watching a guy come in with like a manhunt after him after barely
This
knowing.
Waitresses?
whole movie is
No, I
no.
believe
This
that
whole
too.
movie is a bit dramatic though because like
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is playing about 5
Yeah.
levels above whoever he
he is
needs
cranked to the
be.
9 on this
Yeah,
one.
John Hamm is crazy.
And by the end of it, he
psycho.
gets there.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not there yet.
He plays it very tame under the water.
And Baby speaks like 12 words in the first half. Like everything is a
Yeah.
little bit more like dramatic than it really shows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but that does just seem like way too ridiculous. Like you can believe that there's these absolutely crazy hardened criminal types,
hmm
but it's so hard to believe that some girl working a side job in a diner is gonna go ride or die driving into a police barricade with a guy that she's been
Nah.
on a couple of dates with.
Diner Girls, honestly, it's I can see your point that I think that it's a little dumb, but I would say if you
It's
said
a lot dumb.
but to say that it's unrealistic, I'm like, absolutely not. I think that there are women who meet somebody and they would marry him in a day, and these are the same kind of women who would go and do this exact same fucking thing.
But does
I
she-
think that is entirely a person.
does
Now,
she
is that
seem
Lily
like she's
James?
that person?
No, only here's
she's
where-
gorgeous. You're
here's
right.
where I'll tell
but-
you. Here's where I'll tell you the suspension of belief comes in, because it's played by Lily James, who is incredibly charismatic, attractive, and would have much more in her life going on more than this. That's the hard part. If she is a average-looking woman, I don't doubt it for a second.
Yeah.
I don't bat an eye. I think this is as believable as anything else. It's just that she'd be
Dylan's
like, I
compromise
met
is
you.
bad casting on her part.
Right, but so back to our earlier point with it, right? So if Price is going to say that Mason picked this because it's a teen drama, I want to talk about the chemistry aspect for a second though, because I'll say that honestly, I don't feel as though Baby was necessarily the most like engaging character, even in the
So
context
he
of
needed
this.
something.
Right, mostly because I was like, I think a brick wall would have chemistry with Lily James, so it didn't feel like it was necessarily too much acting on his part, and I remember thinking I felt really flat on him on this rewatch, right? Not necessarily because of the cancel stuff, because I don't really particularly care. Like, apparently that's still in the wash for the most part. Spacey definitely stick out, but Baby's interactions throughout all this, I'm just like, you were the most boring character in this movie.
But I liked his boringness against Jamie Foxx because Jamie Foxx
Right.
was just again so over the.
I mean, he's a
fucking
foil for
top.
sure. Like,
yeah.
here's
John Hamm was like leading the discussion whenever he was having a one-on-one.
right.
Well, and so I believe in Baby's character as being a real person.
Yeah.
Too. So like his reservedness and everything, like I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he reminds me of my little brother, and just the way that he's super quiet and reserved and doesn't really say a whole lot.
Does he have tinnitus?
No, I don't think so. But so like his character seems totally believable and like acted accurately, like not.
We don't think
I don't know,
Jamie
like,
Foxx seems
I could
unbelievable?
Yeah. Oh my God, his character is way.
He's
way
dialed.
over the top.
But honestly,
Like-
this is the right director and movie to do it with. If you say Edgar Wright, like I think Edgar Wright probably said like, Jamie, you're at like a 12, I need you at like a 15. And he's like, what?
I think you're right. I think this was the movie where he was going to be
Yeah.
crazy.
I
with
think
it.
if anything, he absolutely shines being at this energy level. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, like,
I mean, he does a good job of being that character that makes you tense and nervous.
yeah.
Yeah.
The scene where they're in the
Which is
diner.
good.
Sitting next to Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene in the diner where he's about to go literally just pop Lily James on it, and then like Baby's just like stopping right there, and I'm like, okay, this is a real good scene. Like, and then him calling John Hamm out on his stuff on things like that.
Yeah.
But I want to, so characters and stuff aside for a second, I kind of want to talk about what I think is probably one of the more interesting things about this movie that I caught on rewatch is that the villain is, it's a new villain every 40 minutes of the film. You know, objectively we have Kevin Spacey for loosely the main villain, really antagonist, for like the first 30-40 minutes, and then it shifts into being Jamie Foxx for like the next 30-40 minutes, and then it ends with John Hamm being the villain for like the last third of it or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I thought as a whole, I was like, saying that out loud, I'm like, that sounds like that'd be really poorly operated. But honestly,
Yeah.
I think, to your point, the flow of this movie, where I think it definitely has a strength, it felt fairly seamless throughout the entire time. Like, I never felt like it was just like...
And it didn't have a montage of a couple dating.
Not a one montage. Although it does have those black and white dream scene things that I didn't really care for on this
Yeah,
watch.
those were kind of weird.
Yeah, the little daydream.
At least the
country-
montage would show that they had some kind of relationship.
Shut up! You hated it too!
But then you'd be screaming at me twice as loud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
need
true.
this teenage romance in the middle of the movie.
So,
but Dylan, please
if-
continue.
If we really wanted to like kind of nip at it, like the 2 points that I have that I'm not taking it down for,
Sure.
not a single airbag went off in this entire movie.
That's fair.
Right?
Not
You know
a
how many
one.
crashes happen and like not a
Several.
single airbag.
Yeah.
That, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
no
no.
one changed their gun magazine in the last third of this movie.
So
This is
I
post- this is
expected
pre-John
at
Wick.
one
Yeah.
point, whenever like towards the end, whenever he's got his gun aimed at him and everything, I fully expected, because it's
Click.
been such a while that
Yeah.
it would be empty.
Instead, he
like,
shot
surely
next
it's
to his
empty.
ear.
Yeah,
and it kept every bullet kept firing. But anyways, that's like the little critiques that you could sit there and nip at it for, but it's like at this point we're in 80% of this movie. It's like, all right, it's it's been loud, it's been fast so far. It's been
Isa
this, it's been that.
Gonzalez, that's her name.
Oh, it wasn't okay.
It's not actually Olivia Rodrigo, but I'm gonna keep calling her Olivia Rodrigo.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
How did y'all feel about the soundtrack and like the use of music and stuff?
The use of music is good.
They
Yeah,
hook you
pretty good.
so early on in this.
Yeah.
Like that first scene where he's like walking down the street, he's
Mhm.
bebopping along and it has all the stuff on the sidewalk
On the
and all
wall,
the
yeah.
all the graffiti. But they definitely lose track of that a little bit more
As the
in the
movie goes
second
on.
half, yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't bad. It still plays good music. It just doesn't like dial it into the scene as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like his whole rhythm
Yeah.
falling apart
Right.
and everything getting
True.
chaotic. So
It's symbolic, guys, says somebody in the comments.
it is,
Mhm.
but
But it
actually
makes me
would feel
enjoy the
a little
movie
bit-
less.
Yeah, it would feel
Hey.
a little nicer if there was still like that rhythm.
Right, because the stylistic choice behind it is kind of what makes the movie really pop and stand out, especially.
Yeah, like
when
the
we-
beginning of the movie feels better.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just period.
I won't lie. As soon as Jamie Foxx eats it to the
To the-
impalements, yeah,
Rebar.
yeah, to the final destination, like
Yeah.
death. The movie drops in a lot of ways for me, which is crazy because I love John Hamm. And John Hamm is a fun antagonist on this one, but at this point it feels like it's just a little excessive, right? Like
It went on so long.
right,
Well,
like
And they also did the whole like it seemed like as soon as they entered that parking garage, like it wasn't like Michael Bay level, but
yeah,
they
but the destruction
cranked
levels were getting
up
insane.
everything. They cranked up their fire.
Mhm.
They cranked up their just noise.
Explosion,
Their
passion and
yes,
stuff.
every single thing.
And
There's
these are
sweat
all-
on their face.
Yeah.
Like
Still people on the run from cops at the moment, right?
where
Yeah.
are the cops?
Yeah, like
Well,
they're-
John Hamm killed one.
It's true.
I really also did like in that parking garage scene when Kevin Spacey basically did like a whole 180 once he realized
Yeah,
that.
it was like,
Get out
oh,
of
here.
you like her?
Yeah,
no.
Okay.
I've been in love once, and that's all he says to justify his character change. And then he's like, "Get out of here, baby!"
Yeah.
Bah, 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 bah.
He is dead to rights though at that
Yeah,
point.
I mean, if you're gonna be getting
Yeah,
ran
but
over,
no, but he's protecting him though.
Right.
Like he could have gotten away, but instead he's like,
in a way, he's been
Trying to
protecting him
get
this
away
whole
with
time.
Can I say?
Because to Dylan's point, it's a younger man that he has his power over.
"Oh my god."
Can I
Remember we were
say-
talking about that for 6 minutes earlier? We can go back to it if you want it.
I'm about to, because the fact that he's like, I'm in love once, and I'm like,
That was
wait,
another
it's baby, isn't
timestamp
it?
for you.
It's no, I was about to be. I was about to see it. I'm like, is that implying that he's in love with baby? You sick motherfucker. That's all I could. That's all I can think, man. I know I'm not the only person who has thought this on rewatches for this. Maybe not amongst you guys.
Not me.
brother.
He's
I'm gonna
just
put
such
it
a-
out.
It didn't come into my.
He's the
I'm-
exact same. Watch
I'm gonna take-
21.
I'm gonna
movie
take-
21. He
I'm
has the
gonna take
exact
film
same
Twitter
guy that he's talking to the whole time.
Well, maybe Kevin Spacey shouldn't do so many weird power dynamics with other guys' roles. Because maybe that's why he's actually a phenomenal actor in these roles, is because he's not acting.
It's
Yeah.
so down his alley.
Well, he's down somebody's alley, but yeah. So
Ouch.
Olivia Rodrigo dies in this film,
Yeah.
which I thought was crazy. She's like 14 at the time of this shooting in real life, but
Only less.
I know.
But
But,
you're
I'm-
all over the place, but not on this movie.
Yeah, but John Hamm.
Yeah, I mean, her death feels kind of silly too, because she's
It does.
just this like, oh, there's a bunch of cops. Let me just get out these guns
Oh,
and start
yeah.
shooting.
I'm just gonna akimbo these
Like
motherfuckers.
literally
Yeah.
knowing you're going to die
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah.
Like you're not even trying to hide. Why?
Right.
Why? Why are you not even trying? That doesn't seem like a real character.
That's the first
Right.
action that they do is when the cops come up. It's like there's no way out. Just waves
Yeah.
everywhere.
And I kind of get that they're loosely there because Baby has fucked up the job at this point, but John Hamm putting all this on the baby at this point is a little redundant.
It's annoying.
Like, I get it, he's not supposed to be the most rational person in the world, but relative to the crew they've shown us this far, John Hamm has seemed like one of the more cool
I would
heads.
pick him over literally any of them.
Yeah, he's had the
Like-
cool head with it, so I don't think that, like, at this point he's grieving and he's just like, I'm gonna put it all on Baby because we're only here because of this. I'm like, it's somewhat foreseeable, but she did kind of go out there and do this, and you guys drove up and made the big scene, and now somebody could be saying, well, Dylan, he's deflecting his emotions onto Baby because he needs something as a physical outlet, and I get that, but it also feels a little disingenuous for the cool head character they presented this whole movie. Jamie Foxx, I think he would do this irrationally. He'd be like, I'm gonna put this on you because nothing's my fault.
Yeah.
But John Hamm, that's not his character. So.
Well, they kind of led up to that a little bit to be devil's advocate when they were at the
Yeah,
diner or
his whole,
whatever,
like,
and
seeing
Jamie
red
Foxx was
thing.
like
Yeah.
dissecting him, and then the girl was like,
Oh, when he
if
gets
anything
red.
happened, like when he gets mad, like he
Yeah.
sees red.
Well, and plus before that, whenever he
Exactly.
had his little headphone in, like John Hamm came over there, and like that was a very good little like not
A little
foreshadowing,
riff,
but like
yeah.
I'm just gonna lay this little line out.
Mhm.
And he was listening to him, and he was like, "What's your favorite song, baby?" And he said something about Queen. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's on fucking rocks, man." Blah blah blah. Yeah, as a kid, I was like, so it's like you kind of had a little bit of like deception there.
See, but I kind of dislike that they took John, or they took him with this character then, because I think he would have been like, I think he's more fun as like this role model one, and you just
A
bring it back to
fatherly
Kevin Spacey.
character?
Yeah, like not even so much a father, like a big brother character, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that you play him to be more fun like that throughout the tail end of the film, and make Spacey or something a little bit more bigger or threatening at that.
Yeah, but if Kevin Spacey was driving this damn car and acting like a fucking military menace,
He's not as
Yeah.
believable.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with Jamie Foxx. I think he's too loose cannon.
I mean, the action
and
would have
not
to shift a little
calculated
bit for it
enough.
to be Spacey by the end, right? You can't give him John Hamm's exact role. You
Exactly.
can't just trade him out.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, I just wanted to have John Hamm go fucking nuts. Like they're like, all right, guys.
I think they did a good job.
I
with
mean,
him.
they-
I mean,
I think-
it's
They did.
Yeah, they did a good job with
Maybe
it.
they spent a little too much time.
They embellished John Hamm's time with it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would have put more time on Jamie with that because I think Jamie has felt
I
the
feel like
most
there was
fun.
enough of him too. I mean,
Nah.
I guess we can.
I
get
coulda had
into
more of
the
that.
shape of this.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah,
about
we
it.
can
Shape
get
of the
into
movie: fat, thin, perfectly fit. You know it, you love it, Nathan.
I want to say it's fit, but I do think the tail end of this gets a little chunky.
It's got a fat butt.
So
It's got a wagon.
overall, it's fat. I would definitely trim down a little bit of the ending sequence of this. Like, we already know what's going on. We already know what's going to happen. There's not really any surprises. Like the guy slipping out of his car before it goes off the side, and like it's all so very predictable at that point. So I don't know. Could have done without that.
Nathan's argument times 2.
If we are breaking this movie down into 4+ parts, like Price kind of mentioned earlier, he had, the first, then the second quarter, then the third quarter, and the fourth. I think if you take it into enough parts, sure, there's going to be parts where you're like, yeah, I guess that one didn't really hold up. Instead of like American Psycho, where we said this half of the movie, good. This half of the movie, bad. This is by no means that situation. I think that this movie had a very, very good through plot. I do think it's really fit. If there's a couple little parts that you'd sort of slice up a little bit, sure, but the ending I have in my notes was cheesy as fuck. Because, like you said, that, and then, of course, what does he do? He goes to the pen, he gets out for good behavior, he maybe rats on someone? I can't remember. He got out early.
Yeah, no, it's just good
Just
behavior. Everybody else vouches for him.
It's just because everybody that he wronged was also like, but he was actually really
That's
nice.
right, all the
Yeah.
witnesses, yeah. And then she shows up in like the 1950 Chevy long car. Like that was all kind of silly.
How did she do that?
Why is she
Diner
not in jail?
money.
Well,
Yeah,
right.
well, because you would imagine that all the money that he had was
Would get
confiscated.
taken. Would absolutely get taken.
Oh, you've never talked to a
Oh,
criminal.
and let's
Come
go.
on,
Let's
they-
go.
they dig
We'll
that
go back into
stuff.
that relationship. They met they had known each other for 4 different times. They had done stuff together
Without the montage,
And
yes.
she waited 5 years for him to get out of prison. And it was like, I got us this car.
This woman has fallen in love with and slept with many men before she gets back to him.
Yes, 5 years worth of men.
Let's own that right away.
But yeah, the cheesy ending, I mean, if you really wanted to, Nathan was right, you could definitely slice it down a little bit. But I think that the movie is, by that point, I'm all in. I've watched, if it's an hour and a half long, I've watched an hour, 20 minutes of
It's
it.
2
and I'm
hours.
fine.
It's just short of 2. I think
Yeah.
it's 145, 150.
That's it.
But this movie would be perfectly fit if it was at 130, I think. I would probably cut maybe 10, 15. The little black and white dream segment, or daydream segments on rewatch, I didn't think were as important. John Hamm segments goes on for a little bit long, and I'm with you. The ending is feeling like this is dumb. I'm just honestly, if you're gonna do this ending where they're gonna end up together and it's gonna be a happily ever after anyway, just let them fucking get out.
Let him get out.
Let him
Let him
escape
get
with
away.
it. Right,
somehow.
and let him
him
wrap right there.
Let him use his driving skills.
Right.
Let him find a little tunnel that he knew about the whole time. And evade the police.
I don't care to see everybody say I think he was a good dude. Let him out on parole. I'm just like,
I
I already
actually
knew
liked
that.
that part.
I do too. It's just,
I
you
like
could go
that
either way.
it does the callback to all the times that he was good to
as
the
good as he
people
could
that-
have been. To
Turned
this
them into
people.
Easter eggs, really.
Yeah.
Because you remember
Yeah.
that one woman that got
Nah,
yanked out of the car. And...
The black woman in Atlanta gets fucking car robbed. She ain't talking good shit about this guy at all. And that's not for any racial reason. Just if I get robbed and he's like, sorry, gives me this, I'm like,
That's
you still
your
fucking
car.
took my car. My fucking Versa is a piece of shit now. It's all beat up. No, I'm not gonna vouch for this guy. Fuck this guy and his boss. Yeah, no, that's my suspension of belief, right? Everybody, a couple of these people, sure, I can see it. Obviously, the guardian or the person he lives with, sure, but that stuff, nah. I just let them fucking go.
Yeah.
Just let him drive his way out of it, and then they get out, and
I
then
think
they
the
go.
movie's better for it if that happens. 'cause
Yeah,
then it's a heist.
let them get
movie
across Mexico, and it's Blue Streak. So,
That
yeah,
movie.
yeah, and they're like, sorry, can't get across.
He
these
literally
states."
looks at the line, looks
Yeah.
at them, and like,
Owen Wilson or something like that.
it's
yeah.
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence, right? But Owen Wilson's the cop or something. I think.
Maybe. I
Yeah,
don't know.
something like that. Go IMDb Blue Streak. But so it's a little chubby. Long story short. Anyway,
The question.
the question. Thank you. I know I always forget it.
It's amazing.
Could this movie have done without
Montages.
Oh my god.
without the love interest? And this is a very serious question. I think we're
Okay.
gonna get a pretty good resounding same answer.
No, it's the crux of the movie. The whole thing is revolving around him
He
getting
has
out
a
with
roommate.
this girl.
that is his motivation
You
before
can
that we
argue
have
all you
not
want.
spoken
No,
about.
this movie at its core is a teen romance.
I disagree.
Are
Okay,
you kidding
go for
me?
it.
This
I-
movie is a teen romance?
At its core, it is.
Nah, I'm with Mason on this one. I would be fine
Oh,
with this.
go
But
figure.
I'd be fine with it if it was a teen romance, but
We would agree with you if it was a teen
right.
romance.
So
It
and I feel
is.
like into its positive benefits, it would be
Yeah.
teen romance for me on this one. This is a heist movie with some teen romance weaved through it. But to Mason's question, could this movie do without Lily James in it? And yeah, I think that Lily James is supposed to be a showing of redemption character for him. But you already have other elements that kind of already give him the impression
Yeah,
he doesn't need to be a bad. Like
there's
he's not
no
a bad
need
guy.
for a redemption. If
Right.
that's the way that you're
He's
perceiving
portrayed
that.
as fairly taken care of. Hey everybody, right bye.
Hi, I didn't want to interrupt, but hi now.
Hey Jill.
No, we weren't gonna interrupt you.
Well, quit interrupting. I'm doing a show.
How was the movie?
We're talking about it. Stay tuned. But yeah, overall, if you said that, like Lily James' narrative purpose of this is to sit there and be, like we said, the redeeming character to him, but he doesn't really need that.
I don't think he needs
I,
it.
I think even with just the little nods to his like deaf roommate and stuff like that with the older guy, that's enough. That's totally enough.
He had, I don't want to say like babysitting responsibilities, but like
Right.
he had something to come home to every single day. He had money to bring home. He had
Right.
food to put on the table. Like
Honestly,
that wasn't a great character to be having that for, but it
No.
was enough.
Honestly, even without that character, I would say there's still enough on the table for what they show us with Baby, that he's just a person of circumstances.
He just comes home and stares at a wall.
Right. Like honestly, if you said that he goes and busts these
Well,
little
he
jobs
goes
and
home
things
and
like
he
that.
mixes his
Right, and mixes
tapes,
his
which
stuff.
we've not talked about that whole.
Yeah,
True.
the tapes are sloppy
I liked
in some
it.
ways.
That
I think
first one was
in
really
world,
good.
no, it's like
I don't
it's,
think it was really.
Was
Oh,
he
it
slow?
so good.
It was okay.
in real life,
Yeah.
it's incredibly sloppy. Like it's like, bro, you're gonna get in fucking trouble for this. Why
Oh
wouldn't you?
yeah, so and
And they
one
don't
of the
get
scenes
used.
he walks around the corner into another room while they had just had that meeting
Mhm.
and plays back a bit of a recording of the meeting. Like if anybody even barely overhears that, they're like,
What the
was
fuck?
that?"
Did
Yeah.
you're recording us? And he gets shot. That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the whole fucking
Yeah,
movie.
he's not a good
At
guy.
that point, he's a cop.
Let's start right there. Jamie Foxx has shot everybody for less.
Mhm.
He just shoots him on this point. Also, to the point that I'm surprised they didn't do with it. They didn't, if I recall correctly, they don't make these tapes be like a thing where they sit there and use it to catch somebody at the end, which would have made
Something
narrative
happened to
sense.
the tapes. I just can't remember what happened.
Well,
to
the
them.
tapes kind of all get like. I mean, even still, nobody's really left alive for them to kind of persecute with because the movie wanted to go up 500
Yeah.
at the end. But like, it would have made sense narratively if these were the tapes that ended up kind of paroling him out because they're like, oh, these turned out to be insurance for him because he's got all these little nods
Yeah,
and things.
and that's something you might expect.
Right.
Which, you know, if this
To
subvert
if this were a
expectation.
movie written differently, that might
That
have
definitely
been an angle.
right, and I guess there's something to be said there. Like, well, we want to subvert expectations a little bit
Yeah.
on it, but then it's just a strange loose thread. In
It
the film
is.
to
It's
me.
something that doesn't really get tied back.
right,
into.
and I'm just
Yeah.
like, he just wants to make music for the sake of making music. So I think that's just strange in hindsight now. Anyway, everybody's got their phones out there diddling
Sorry.
themselves.
Well, I'm looking up the Rotten Tomatoes score.
well,
but I
Bryce
think we
isn't.
can
He's looking up
segue.
Pokemon movies because he's about to have to pick one.
Yep.
Or maybe not.
That was really funny. Were you looking at one up?
So
Okay, score time?
scores. Price bell.
Okay, well,
Hit
we
the bell.
talked about the.
Hit that bell, Dylan.
I hit it.
We talked about a little bit about how like the use of music in this movie, and I personally thought it was too much. I think there was a song playing too often in this movie. If they would have toned it down and kind of emphasized the music more, I think I would have liked that part more. I did like how occasionally like the gunshots would line up with the beat of the song or something like that. I really like how they did that, but I think there was an overabundance of it. It didn't let a lot of scenes breathe because there's songs playing over it. And the movie I thought was at its best when the criminals like were on screen. When it like I said, that second section where it's no criminals and just like the good guys, like I hated it. Like it just seems so forced that like you're supposed to like these people. Here's why you should like these people. He's blind. He is having a hard go of it. This
Hard of hearing, technically.
this pretty girl at the diner, she's having a hard go of it. Like she's he's not blind obviously, but
Yeah, you wouldn't do sign language if you
yeah, that's my point. I did watch this.
I just can't even tell you the right disability.
but-
You even watch this movie?
Classes.
I know.
You
But
went
at the
to
end of,
disability
like-
class.
But at the end of it, to me, it
For
seems
me.
like it's a teen romance wrapped in a heist kind of movie, and you can wrap a piece of shit in bacon, but at its core, it's
Still
shit.
bacon.
But the bacon was really good. There was a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff.
Why are you eating shitty bacon, Bryce?
Like,
That's a terrible analogy.
I loved all the criminals, every single one of them. John Hamm, the girl, Jamie Foxx, John Bernthal when he was on there for a little bit.
For 5 seconds.
Kevin Spacey was fine. He wasn't really on there too much. I really hated his character shift at the end. But like Nathan said, this movie's got a wagon. It's way too thick at the end. It needs to be cut so much. That whole John Hamm going ham for that long needs to be cut down.
You owe him $5 for that.
I should.
I'm sure he's got it trademarked.
He's got to.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I didn't hate my time with this movie. It was still fun. It had, like, I paid for it for a reason. It was still crisp and fun to watch, and it had a good flow to it. So still gonna go 5.5. So still enjoyed this movie.
5.5. Oy.
I was thinking 4.5 by the
Yeah.
time
I
he
thought
was
this
done
show was
writing.
going to be higher than that.
I
But
know.
he was talking about having a good time with it.
Right,
Alright.
having a good time. Not a song in this movie, actually.
There's plenty others.
Shaun of the Dead.
I know. So, the first time I watched this movie, I really, really enjoyed it. The second time I watched this movie, I enjoyed it a little less. Some of the narrative stuff sticks out, and some of the real world stuff does bleed into it, unfortunately. Credit to the movie, the stuff that it bleeds into is a character that's not the most important. Doc. Narratively, yes, but like to the movie's, runtime and everything like that, he's only on screen for like the early parts of it and then ties himself in at the end. Baby was a little bit more boring and dull, and yes, he's a foil to the ridiculousness of all the other characters in the world of it. But I just found him more boring this time around. I don't really know what it is. It just it didn't hit me in the same way. It didn't feel like he had the same like charisma power that I felt like this time around. I just felt like he was being, instead of it being like a fun foil, it just felt like he was being drastically outshined by every other character on screen at the time, and that one kind of hurt it because that's where this movie goes around. This movie does still make me laugh. The humor and things are still on point. All the Edgar Wrightness of this movie is done very, very well. Obviously, his flavor is injected into this all over the place. We didn't even mention the scene where they're talking about the Michael Myers mask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh
And he
yeah.
brings in the
I got it. Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's just like, motherfucker, what do you mean you got Michael? This is not the killer? And then they're like,
Mike Myers.
I got Mike Myers. That scene is very funny. I just needed this.
Just like a quick nod, too. It's just like, I want to know.
Yeah, no. All right, yeah.
And he also told them to each buy a mask separately.
I know, and then there's
And
a good
the
skull.
guy comes with all the masks for them.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, though, this movie does run a little bit more than what I wanted it to on this one. A little bit too much road on the track, I guess you could say. 7.5.
I'll give you that
Boo.
one.
I would probably give this. I think the first time I watched this, I remember thinking it was closer to an 8 and 8.5, and like I almost want to give it an 8, but it just a couple things are a little bit heavier in the con section for me, so it just drops it in 7.5. That's where it feels right for me. Nathan.
It starts off moving at a really good clip. Lots of good music. It's got a good rhythm to it, and I enjoy it for about half of it. And it's still fine towards the latter half, but it drags, and it stops being like what I think of as the Baby Driver movie. Because when I think of that movie, I do just think of like those first couple of heists and like the like car escape scenes.
Yeah.
Those
When he's
were-
driving backwards
Right.
and
Yeah,
he's
like
drifting
whenever
backwards
he's
around corners.
being a really cool driver guy.
Those were fun.
And
Yeah.
the latter half of the movie, he doesn't do that at all. Like it
Standard
becomes
driving.
he never uses his just magical driving abilities in the end of the movie for some reason, which also doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the beginning helps keep interest through most of it, and the characters are pretty strong. I don't know. I'll land at like a 7, I think.
I also was going to talk about the driving because it kind of reminded you of obviously like Fast and Furious and also Nightcrawler. I don't know if you guys remember whenever he got that sweet red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it
he
was
does.
all cars.
Here's
Here's
the
the
red
nighttime
sun.
clip.
Yeah.
But you're right. It didn't have enough driving at the end. Had plenty of explosions. Had a lot more gunfire. I think that this movie is way over the top in a lot of different marks. Like we were talking about Jamie Foxx, John Barenthal. The whole third of this movie, the last third of this movie, is just way over the top. If you take a few of those parts out, it starts to become worse and worse. So that's why I liked all of them together. Music was loud. But I think that I'm still going to land at an 8. I think that this is just a pretty good heist movie. You've got Takers, you've got The Town, you've got all of these other types of movies that are...
Oceans.
I was going to say Oceans is more of like a strategic, like
Yeah, it's got. It's
gonna
got a
pull
lot
the
of
rug out
everything.
from under you 4 times before they get to the end.
Yeah.
This doesn't even come close to that. Like this
No.
is very one note compared
No.
to Oceans or Snatch.
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 Yeah, Snatch has a lot of different outs.
That was a good movie, wasn't it, Nathan?
Edgar Wright really does just love his high
Yes,
space
it
movies.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he does it right. He's just like this one. He just kind of like, let's get a few points
Well, I already
in
did
here.
Snatch.
That's
Let me do
about it.
something different this way.
Yeah.
Snatch wasn't Edgar Wright though.
No, it's not. But
Okay.
it just feels like it has similar vibes to. Oh gosh, who was the director for Snatch? Why am I blanking?
I know. I keep
Was
trying
it
to think
Ridley
of it.
Scott?
No, it's a famous.
It's that
one.
other one, yeah. Anyways, I get this movie an 8. I think that it does its job. Nathan said it best. You definitely had most of your good stuff in the first half, and then you just hope. I guess they were hoping that you were on board at that point because they
Gotcha,
definitely lost their stuff there towards the end. But tomato meter, critics is 92%, and audience score is 86.
It surprises me that critics was way more on this
I
one.
agree.
I think it just checked all the boxes. I mean, it wasn't, you had a few good characters, like good characters.
Right.
Right? And then you had a good storyline that made enough sense. And then the flow. Like, those are the main 3 things.
I guess technically it does hit the notes of, like I was saying earlier, having like a different protagonist for each act of it, and it doesn't feel like that's bad. And
Yeah.
Different antagonists.
Right. So that for that being a little bit a unique concept in theory and executing well, I could see
Yeah.
maybe where they get on it. But Price, you need to spin this because it's yours, but you got to put it
Yeah,
on the
it's
table because
yours.
you got to spin from the right.
Wait, I'm getting to spin.
Yeah, it's
Spin it
yours.
right in front of you.
Oh my
We can't
god!
see
It's
it.
not. It's not on camera.
That's fine. We're gonna.
All right,
you
here
need
we
to-
go.
You need to spin
Block
from here.
it.
Okay.
Spin down.
These.
Otherwise, the pegs will fly off.
All right, we ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Retro review.
I hope it's retro
Oh my
review.
God,
actually.
it's about to be.
So close.
It's not.
Devil all the
Pokemon.
time.
Oh!
It
Finally.
took my slot for it to happen. It's yellow.
Max,
Pull
you
it
may
up.
have yelled at me during the review, but you know what?
I'm your best friend now, and I don't want to hear it.
You are my best friend now.
You don't have to pick a Pokemon movie.
I'm so mad. I wanted a Pokemon.
In the meantime, this is the last of this session, and
What, you mean season?
season session. That board basically, that wheel has
Session is
2
what I get
movies
paid to
on
do.
it, pretty much. So
Yeah, we had Pokemon movies or this. We're gonna watch the trailer for Devil All the Time.
the
I'm gonna keep the
Netflix.
volume low because we will get DMCA'd.
I remember 2 things about this movie.
I remember
Robert
one.
Robert Pattinson's awesome, and it's pretty long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this movie is lengthy, just like Robert Pattinson.
Can't really hear it now.
Hell yeah, Walter P30.
Tom Holland doing a less eccentric Southern accent, I can be fine with that. I forgot.
He's not as much Southern as Robert Pattinson.
No, Pattin's. Also, Tom
Oh, I
Holland-
forgot about his accent.
Yeah. Although when you know that what his normal accent
It's
sounds
very
like,
British.
yeah, and when he's exceptionally British, this is not bad for a Southern.
Mia Wasikowska was in this.
Yeah.
Wasikowska.
Knock 'em stiff.
You ever think about how we ended up orphans living in the same house?
I know what my daddy did.
That was Pennywise.
This is the one with
Uh-huh.
the. This is the one with the. Wait, who's Pennywise?
His dad.
That bad
Oh,
guy.
really?
Not him, but the other one.
Yeah.
I just watched both of those movies.
The first one's fantastic.
The second one is not as fantastic.
It's a pretty big drop, but the first one is fantastic.
The first one's awesome.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh man, we got Bucky.
Bucky.
Yep, Winter Soldier himself, Spider-Man, Winter Soldier, and
That's Pennywise.
Batman.
This is the movie with the dog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
Excuse me, preacher. You got time for a sinner?
I remember 2 scenes of this movie, and that
Yeah.
was one of them.
I remember one. It's the Robert Pattinson one.
I believe that is untrue.
God, seeing this trailer again.
Oh.
This movie had so much fucking going on.
Yeah.
Did you never watch it, Dylan?
No, I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Hannah watched it, and I remember thinking like,
It's super
Bill
dark
Skarsgård.
too.
Yeah, I just remember thinking like, good God, something's always happening in this.
Some people are born
There he is.
just to be buried.
Haley Bennett.
Yeah. That was from
What I'm about to do, I do.
Hardcore Henry. That's what she's
Yeah,
in.
yeah. The movie got me nauseous. I couldn't watch it. I wanted to.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah, I remember trying to watch that one too.
It was all in first person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never did watch it.
I watched part of it and I was like, I want to watch this more, but I'm gonna vomit. Like,
It's like
It's
somebody
neat.
watched the ending
Yeah.
of Doom and was like,
Yep.
let's make that an entire movie.
yeah, but
Well, and it was like what's that movie called
yeah.
Yeah.
where it's just like the whole thing is just like guns.
Oh, this is only 219. I thought it was a lot longer than that.
Still
Feels-
a little.
feels
that's
longer.
Pretty long.
Yeah. 219. It's not a short movie, but Devil All the Time will be what closes out season 4,
No.
5, season 5.
Don't even remember anymore.
I don't. Well, our seasons are weird because we don't gauge it by like years, So it's like.
I started this season with Hateful Eight, right?
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
game night technically, or no, the other guys technically, but then yeah, you had the
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guys.
The other guys.
started this one. Game
Yeah.
Night was
Yeah.
started the last
Oh,
one.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
right.
right, because we always did the group.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
So make sure to tune in for our season finale of Devil All the The Devil All the Time, not Devil All the Time, but that's what we're gonna keep calling it because that's what was written on the wheel.
Drop the
Drop the. It's cleaner.
I'm glad I could do that for you
Thank
guys.
you, fucking Justin Timberlake, you fucking animal.
That's a 9.5.
Oh boy. Make sure to tune in next week for that. Get us comments below. Let us know that you exist and that you're watching, because apparently some of you are, and you're like his brother or other people like that. And if you think the intro is obnoxious, I can get louder. If you want me to get louder, make sure to give us a thumbs up so I know how to change my volume with it. If you want to see Price's legs
Number
get
of
smashed.
thumbs up, degree of pitch.
Yes, exactly. I'm just gonna be screaming. Glass is gonna be breaking in the
That
background.
chair might get us some views.
Ooh, that's true. The chair. We're gonna start getting chair ads. Is what's gonna happen. Make sure to hit the bell, just because you can, and then you'll get to know when this movie review comes right on out. And then afterwards, we've got some more content for you as we wrap up the season, and maybe even a new studio. Stay tuned, guys. Make sure to subscribe to your channel if you like what we're doing. See you next week with The Devil All the Time. Bye.
Be there.
Bye.
Be there, or he'll keep doing that.
I will. Nathan probably cut that.